It's Thursday, September 11th. In the headlines, Dr. Andrew Holness is to be sworn in as Prime Minister on Tuesday. Court blocks Police Commissioner from removing Police Officers Association's Chairman Wayne Cameron. In business news, EduFocal Limited has announced that Harry Campbell is now its director and chairman of the board. Regionally, the Caribbean and Africa are reaffirming their commitment to deeper ties. And in sports, Sanique Walker ruled out of World Championships due to new SRY gene testing. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Dr. Andrew Holness will be officially sworn in as Prime Minister of Jamaica for a third consecutive term next Tuesday. According to a statement issued by King's House, the announcement follows a formal meeting on Wednesday between Dr. Holness and Governor General Sir Patrick Allen, held in the wake of the September 3 general election, which was decisively won by the Jamaica Labour Party. The swearing-in ceremony will take place at 4 p.m. on the ceremonial lawn of King's House. This marks the fourth time Dr. Holness will be sworn in as Prime Minister. The Supreme Court on Wednesday granted an ex parte injunction in favor of Senior Superintendent of Police Wayne Cameron, preventing Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake from removing him as chairman of the Police Officers Association. The court also issued a stay of implementation of any decisions made by the commissioner regarding Cameron, pending the outcome of a judicial review hearing scheduled for October 8. In an interview with the press following the ruling, SSP Cameron reaffirmed his position that the police commissioner does not have the legal authority to remove the POA chairman. He says this is a position elected by the association's general membership during its annual conference, which was held in November 2022, with over 2/3 of Jamaica Constabulary Force officers present. Commissioner Blake has cited allegations of indiscipline and misconduct against SSP Cameron, which he said could compromise the operations of the POA, especially amid critical salary and benefits negotiations with the government. However, SSP Cameron rejected that claim, stating that the misconduct allegation refers to a 2020 incident that had already been investigated and resolved in his favor. The People's National Party, PNP, held a press conference on Tuesday to address key concerns surrounding the recently concluded general elections. PNP President Mark Golding, General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell, and legal advisor Anthony Hilton led the event. The trio provided updates and outlined the party's position on several issues arising from the electoral process.
The massive political advertising paid for by ministries, departments, and agencies of government during and up to election day at the cost of taxpayers to benefit the incumbent JLP administration is problematic. And we are going to have to, as a nation, look at the way in which public resources are used in support of political achievements in the election period. We're also concerned about the unprecedented scale of distribution of benefits, black tanks, fertilizer, building materials, cash, by both the state and the Jamaica Labour Party. And in some cases, it's very different to distinguish one from the other. And we have received numerous reports of widespread suppression of PNP votes across marginal constituencies, with reports of very large sums of money being paid. And this strategy was enhanced by the timing of the elections and related giveaways in the back to school week, when parents in low income families in particular are most vulnerable and could be financially induced to prioritize loyalty to their families and their children over party loyalties.
I think after almost 30 years of a system that was robust at the beginning, I think there is no concern that gaps are opening up and they need to be examined. And we will be doing so by the processes that you have outlined in the various constituencies and regions as well. So the other point really is the legislative and regulatory improvements that may well result from all of this, which is to ensure that the use of state resources prior to and during elections are much better managed. And I think there are clearly loopholes there, and we need to fill those gaps.
Persons have been making threats about removing the water pumps, and I think they even made reference to using dynamite and other things like that to destroy the infrastructure. We've seen videos as well and heard voice notes of persons in Eastern Portland that would have made comments that resources would be limited to the newly elected Member of Parliament, Isaac Buchanan. We have seen as well in Southeast St. Mary, where there's been vandalism of a community center and the removal of certain infrastructure in that area. And probably the most concerning of them all is in South Trelawney, where a team from the Labour Party, led by persons in leadership, went to the house, the accommodation of our candidate, Paul Patmore, to threaten him. We believe that these things are intended to intimidate and weaken the democratic process within the country. And we are calling on the members of the Labour Party, the leadership, to rein in their supporters.
The Ministry of Education is ramping up efforts to make classrooms more interactive and engaging through its digital education strategy. The initiative uses technology not only to support teaching and learning, but also to give students access to a range of exciting digital resources. Daniela Rodney has that story.
The Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information is expanding the use of digital resources in schools with the goal of enhancing the quality of learning for Jamaican students. Assistant Chief Education Officer of the Medium Services Unit in the ministry, Dr. Nadine Sim, says this is being done through the digital education strategy.
So the Ministry of Education's digital strategy, it's about integrating information, communication and technology. We call it ICTs within the education system. So ICTs will be used in administration and the teaching and learning, all right, for efficiency, to help with data-driven decision, and to make learning exciting for our students, which, are digital native.
Speaking on a recent JIS Get the Facts program, Dr. Sim shares the ministry's Media Services Unit is leading the charge, creating and sourcing interactive resources that are accessible through multiple platforms.
So our mandate is we're responsible for creating, developing, and sourcing interactive educational resources for our students right across the system. Right? We are also responsible for accessing, in terms of providing access through our ministry digital library platform, YouTube. Yes, there is a ministry digital library platform. It's online.
Yes.
Correct. And there is also our YouTube channel. We also have a TV station through PBCJ, which content is shared.
Wow.
All right. So think of it as creating, developing, sourcing, accessing, and we promote these educational resources or digital resources.
She says the strategy also includes training educators to use emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence, in the classroom.
We also do training and professional development for educational stakeholders, for example, or student teachers or school leaders or educators or education officers in new and emerging technologies, for example, artificial intelligence. And so, we help persons to know how to integrate this in their functions, day-to-day functions.
The ministry says the initiative is part of its long-term plan to modernize the education system and prepare students for a technology-driven future.
Time now for this week's Young Boss feature.
My name is Shmir Edwards. I would say that I'm an introvert, but at the same time, I do love people. Well, some people, can I say that? I have a 5-year-old. I'm a single mom, and I feel as if I do have a lot of potential when it comes onto me. It's called Creative Mogul. And the reason the name Creative Mogul came up was, of course, creativity. That's a part of me. And the word mogul is, as you would, the definition of mogul is to be a high person in status. So Creative Mogul is for persons who want to, unlock their creativity. I would say from I was a child, I always tell my family, listen, I'm not gonna work for nobody for too long. I want to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know what I wanted to go into until I, found myself in the space of COVID. I always had a knack for customer service. I studied at Hart. I'm probably be one of the first few batches of Hart that studied customer service. And in my family, they had businesses where customer service was top tier for them. So I decided that, listen, I need to maybe specialize in customer service because I have a knack for it and I really don't like poor customer service. So that's the reason why I, wanted to become my own boss and step into the role of, helping others or just to enhance what they already have, but to utilize, to enhance that skill that they already have. So a typical day for me is definitely customizing the courses according to the need of the business or just according to what is needed. So it's a matter of developing the course. So my typical day would be like, all right, I need to get some knowledge. So if you want to consider me going into materials, discovering new materials, that's something that I'll do, read over materials just to make sure that it is something that I can implement and bring across to others and put it in a Jamaican context because, of course, Creative Mogul, as its name, creative, unique, I tailor it to our Jamaican culture because I think that is very important.
In the business report, corporate executives have made major moves in the last few weeks. The Board of Directors of Edufocal Limited has announced the appointment of seasoned business executive Harry Campbell as a director and a chairman of the board, effective September 2, 2025. He replaced longtime chairman and current managing director of British Caribbean insurance company Peter Levy, who resigned on June 13, 2025, after 12 years of distinguished service at Edufocal. The Board of Directors of CAC 2000 is confirming that Michael Murray has stepped down from his role as financial controller effective August 28, 2025. The board thanks Mr. Murray for his service and contributions to the company and wishes him well in his future endeavors. Sagicor Financial Limited has announced Jamaican David Noel as its latest hire to join the leadership team of the Caribbean financial conglomerate. In a release, Sagicor Financial said it has appointed Noel as an executive vice president and chief operating officer for the Caribbean operation, effective September 8, 2025. In this capacity, he will report to Andre Massot, the president and chief executive officer of Sagicor Financial. Noel's responsibility will span operational driving strategy, execution, and performance across the Caribbean. Tax Administration Jamaica is reminding business persons that employers' monthly statutory deduction for August 2025, along with the third quarter estimated corporate income tax, self-employed statutory obligations are due on Monday, September 15, 2025. The adjustment to the due date on statutory deduction is as a result of the usual deadline. The 14th of the month falls on the weekend. The tax types associated are estimated corporate income tax, third quarter, self-employed statutory payments, third quarter, monthly statutory deductions which cover PAYE, as well as education tax, NHT, NIS, and HEART contributions deducted on behalf of employees. Employers are also reminded that making timely payment of their monthly SO1 not only ensures compliance, but also makes them eligible for employment tax credit, which may be applied to reduce their income tax liability. Time now for a report on the financial market highlights from Denise Williams.
For the trading period ending September 9, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited Jamaican shares with 4,092,348 units traded, representing 39.33% of market sales volume. Investment firm Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial with 1,004,818 units traded, representing 9.66% of market sales volume. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited US shares with 926,321 units traded, representing 8.90% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rates set by the Bank of Jamaica. On September 9, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $62.44 million purchased and US $54.32 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.95 per dollar, selling the US at $161.44 and buying the US at $159.49. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $2.54 per transaction, with selling at $116.69 and buying at $114.15. The British pound yielded Forex traders $8.01 in profits, with selling at $219.46 and buying at $211.45. For the credit report tip of the day, turn your credit report into a power move. Start by adding purpose to every account you open: credit cards, loans, or mortgages. Show discipline with payments, keep balances low, and let your portfolio tell the story that you're ready for more approvals, more access, more wealth. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, the Caribbean and Africa are reaffirming their commitments to deeper ties. Speaking at the opening of the second CARICOM-Africa summit in Addis Ababa, CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett said collaboration between the two regions is crucial in today's shifting global order. She emphasized that strengthening this partnership can unlock opportunities from both Africa and the Caribbean, especially as the summit focuses on reparatory justice for Africans and people of African descent. More details in this SKN Newsline report.
Speaking in the context of Africa CARICOM Day at the opening of the second CARICOM-Africa Summit being held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the location of the African Union headquarters, CARICOM's Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett said it is crucial to pursue collaboration between the two regions in light of the rapid changes taking place in the international order. According to Dr. Barnett, the two regions are determined to pursue pathways that would redound to the benefit of the people in Africa and in the Caribbean region.
There is undeniable potential in the growing partnership between Africa and CARICOM. Further solidifying this partnership would stand as a testament to the enormous benefits of South-South cooperation, which has become an urgent necessity given the rapid changes in the international order. It also reflects the reality of our contemporary world. Just decades ago, many of our countries fought for independence and faced great hardships in our movement for self-determination. Most are only now raising their first and second generation of people who will have no personal recollection of colonial rule. We stand today as a bloc of developing nations determined to secure a prosperous future for our people. We recognize but are undaunted by the challenges ahead of us, for we recognize that our combined strength is a formidable asset. The theme for this summit, a transcontinental partnership in pursuit of reparatory justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations, is particularly timely as the international community observes the second international decade for people of African descent, which began in January of this year. It is also significant that the African Union has designated 2025 as the year for justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations.
It is believed the matter of reparation is justified given the atrocities committed in Africa and on people of African descent.
President Irfan Ali says Guyana remains committed to deepening defense and security ties with the United States and other partners. Speaking following a meeting at State House with U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Joseph M. Hum, the president stressed that regional cooperation is key in tackling transnational crime, while safeguarding Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The details in this report.
Following a meeting at State House on Monday where President Irfan Ali met with United States Deputy Assistant Secretary of War, Mr. Joseph M. Umair, the head of state speaking on the sidelines of the swearing-in ceremony for Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips and Vice President Bart Jagdeo, said the engagement was a continuation of ongoing cooperation on defense and security.
It's just reinforcing that collaboration, looking at areas that we will expand the collaboration. And of course, we have had many training programs with the U.S. And looking at expanding training program here in Guyana.
He stressed that regional security was also on the agenda, and Guyana is committed to working with all partners, including the United States, to ensure the country plays its role in combating transnational crime.
Whether it's drug trafficking, human trafficking, smuggling. So we support our partners as they support us in fighting these illicit activities.
During the meeting, President Ali emphasized that the sovereignty and defense of Guyana remain central priorities for his government. On Sunday, during his inaugural speech, President Ali pledged that his government will ensure the safety of the nation by building the strongest and most modern defense system in Guyana's history, one designed to safeguard sovereignty and territorial integrity.
We'll deepen partnership with friendly nations, strengthen ties of security cooperation,
and continue to repose our faith in the rule of international law, including the peaceful settlement of disputes.
Education Transformation Minister Chad Blackman says reforms are coming to the school system to better equip young people for careers in construction and design. Speaking at a media briefing for the Barbados Annual Construction and Design Conference, the minister stressed that the industry can only grow if classrooms keep pace with the demands of modern workforce. Deanza Roberts has more.
Minister Blackman told the gathering that subjects such as woodwork and technical drawing will soon be modernized at the secondary school level. He says this will prepare students to take their place in the global construction industry.
You're going to see it rolled out this coming academic year, for example, particularly at the secondary level. The reimagination of what we do in our secondary schools with respect to woodwork, metalwork, technical drawing. These are the foundational aspects of design going forward. And we've done those things, of course, in a very 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s way up to this point. But when you look at China, when you look at South Korea, those countries in school are using the industrialization process to help the students to understand and master the concept of design at scale. So that by the time they get to your industry, you're not going to have to necessarily do all of the heavy lifting in terms of the apprenticeships. Yes, those things are still necessary, but the school system, the curriculum must now match the national development at the earliest stage.
The conference is a brainchild of the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Council, TVET. The council's chairman, Dr. Albert Bell, says technology must be at the heart of the country's development if the construction industry is to thrive.
By integrating technology into construction, we are not only improving quality, we are future-proofing our infrastructure and empowering our workforce. This conference is taking place against a backdrop of major global challenges in the construction and design industry. Climate change and environmental degradation, supply chain disruptions and material shortages, labor market shifts and skills gaps, rapid urbanization and housing demands, digital transformation and cybersecurity risks.
In sports, we start with athletics. Jamaica's preparations for the World Athletics Championships Tokyo 2025 have hit a setback following the exclusion of 400-meter hurdler Sanique Walker, who was unable to complete a newly mandated SRY gene test, genetic screening now required by World Athletics to confirm biological sex. The test, introduced as a part of new regulations that came into effect on September 1, 2025, is considered a once-in-a-lifetime requirement and a key eligibility criterion for female athletes competing at the championships. Team Jamaica manager Ian Forbes confirmed Walker's ineligibility during an interview with Radio Jamaica Sports, explaining that this prevented her from being considered as a replacement for the injured Rochelle Clayton in the women's 400-meter hurdles. The regulations will be enforced for the first time at the Tokyo World Championships, which officially begins on September 13. Optimum Jamaica has contributed $250,000 to the Netball Foundation of Jamaica in support of the national under-21 team as they prepare for the 2025 Netball World Youth Cup in Gibraltar, September 19 to September 28, 2025. The donation comes at a crucial time as the Young Sunshine Girls had been actively seeking sponsorship to secure their place on the world stage. Optimum Jamaica, driven by its core principles of empowerment, community, and innovation, stepped in to ensure the team's dreams could be realized. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Pleasant viewing.